Hello guys, how are you doing? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Open Mic with Nelson. Thank you very much for always watching my content. If you are new here, this is how we do it. Please just subscribe, hit the notification bell, watch, comment, and share our content. So I was watching news and I came across a story done by the CNN about the homelessness, the rising number of homeless people in the United States of America. And with that, I came across there is an involuntary center that is being built by the government of Donald Trump, and I want us to dive deep into it. And apparently, this is what is happening in the Utah, and the government has decided to to build a so-called resource campus in a 16 acres of land just outside Salt Lake City, of which they are saying it is being turned into what the state is calling a 1,300 bed homeless services center. It sounds good, right? Housing, treatment, jobs, accountability, all of them in one place. But when you look closer, people are calling it something else. I have some videos, I've compiled some videos, and you're going to listen to them. But there is a very sharp criticism from different quarters concerning this project that the government of Donald Trump has decided to undertake. People, they are calling it something else, a camp, or worse, a modern day prison for the poor. And so, I just want us first to listen to these videos. I don't own the copyright of these videos. Credit given to the original creators of these videos. In case you feel that you are not okay with us using your video, again, we have our email at the end of this video. Just reach to us, talk to us, email us, and we'll do the necessary. So, guys, I'm coming back with my commentary, and I want us to listen. We just listen keenly, and then I'm coming back. This open mic with Nelson. Continue watching, subscribing, and also liking our videos.
We now have our first involuntary camps in the United States. The Trump administration has taken 16 acres outside of Salt Lake City where they are holding homeless people. They're calling it a service campus, but others are calling it a prison. But if you're not allowed to leave, what is it? It is a prison. So it's illegal to be homeless. There is no money to feed you. And it's a crime now in the United States. But we gave billionaires a $4 trillion tax cut. And Congress can't bother to show up to work. But we have started our first encampments in the United States of America. They will receive addiction and mental health treatment, whether they need it or not. Then they may be moved to BLM management land. Is that the end?
I head to the middle of Times Square because that's where the overnight shelter I go to is. So those types of shelters, you're not allowed to sleep like flat on like the floor or on a mattress. So we can only sleep on fold-out chairs. You don't really think about how like bad it seems or it looks because that's like your only option. This is better than me being on like a sidewalk. I'm crying a little bit, because my sister, she sent me money. That's why I'm crying. I'm hungry, and I'm broke, and I need a job, and I requested $10, and I was like, I want food today. I want food. I've applied for retail, a lot of retail operations, warehouse, customer service, front of house, beauty advisor. I've applied for a lot of fast food places, greeter, server, busser. It gets to a point where it's like, okay guys, it's almost been a year now, and
They say that there's 750,000 homeless people in the United States. That is actually incorrect. It is much higher because that's just based on the point in time count. It's actually, I would guess, over 1 million people, which would mean that roughly 1 in every 300 and something people in the United States is homeless. So when you talk about, the people are, everyone's mentally ill, no. The number one cause for homelessness is lack of a house, lack of the ability to have affordable housing. The second part of that is poverty. So when you talk about Trump's executive order and what that's going to do, it doesn't address housing. It doesn't address poverty. In fact, the Trump administration is talking about making time limits on people who are living in federal low-income housing, which means that potentially 1 million people could become homeless in just a few years when their vouchers run out. So they're talking about exacerbating poverty. And when you say everyone that's homeless has mental illness, so they need this conservatorship, that's not true. Because if you just watch TikTok, you see people who are employed living in their cars because they don't have any housing that they can afford.
What is up, everybody? I wanted to talk about a major problem in the U.S., and that's homelessness or unhoused. In 2024, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development tracked 771,000 individuals experiencing homelessness for at least one night. Of that 771,000 unhoused individuals that experienced at least one night of homelessness, 274,000 people experienced more than a single night, usually long-term homelessness. Homeless and unhoused individuals are a major burden on the U.S. government. States spend billions a year trying to manage the problem, and the problem keeps getting worse. So here's the interesting part. There's 400,000 registered churches in the U.S. There's 771,000 people that experience one night of homelessness. There's 274,000 people that experience long-term homelessness. The church is primed to solve this problem. Regarding the unhoused for one night a year, that means technically if every church just adopted 2 individuals that don't have housing for one night a year, that problem would be almost eradicated. And then in regards to the 274,000 that experience long-term homelessness, that means only about 68% of churches would have to adopt or take under their wing one of these individuals to completely eradicate the homeless problem. And yes, I'm painting with a very broad brush here, but when we look at social issues in the U.S. Christian church is primed to solve these issues, not only in regards to finance, but in regards to manpower as well. Christ, our quote-unquote savior, said in Matthew 25, "You fed me when I was hungry, you gave me something to drink when I was thirsty, and you clothed me when I was naked. And what you did for the least of these, you did for me." We're going to start pointing out really low-hanging fruit in the U.S. that the Christian church could solve. We are here to call the church back to its original mission. Have a great day, guys.
772,000. That's not a typo. That's how many folks are currently living on the streets in the so-called richest country in the world. And y'all want us to believe this is just the system working? Nah, the system is broken. Broken and broke again. Let's break it down. Homelessness just hit a record high in the U.S. That's an 18% spike from last year alone. And family homelessness up 39%. Families, not just individuals. Moms, dads, kids sleeping in cars, on benches, under bridges. What's causing it? Sky-high rent, stagnant wages. Then you got post-COVID economic chokeholds. And a government that got no problem spending billions overseas, but freezes up when it's time to house its own people. And don't get it twisted. This ain't just a bad economy issue. This is a policy failure. No cap. There are more empty homes in America than homeless people. Let that sink in. But instead of tackling housing reform or raising the minimum wage, we're watching politicians bicker like it's a Twitter beef while folks are freezing in tents. This ain't the American dream. This is an American eviction notice. And the wildest part, the media will run this headline and keep it pushing. No national emergency, no federal task force, just another day in the land of get yours or die trying. We need rent control, mental health support, jobs that pay a livable wage, and leaders who actually give a damn. Because homelessness isn't a crime, but letting this continue should be. Follow your boy Crypto Black. See you next time.
Can we just address how violent and traumatic it is to witness homelessness every single day and ignore all that? I personally care a lot. I feel a lot of pain for them, but it looks like nobody else does. People just dismiss them as crackheads and go about their day or make a joke about it, even in class to the professor, because we've just been so desensitized to this whole group of our human population. But even if you don't give a shit about the people themselves, let's just talk about you. Aren't you scared every time? Aren't you traumatized? Isn't that political violence? Do you not consider for more than 2 seconds what had to have happened for them to get to this point? And what is happening for them to not be able to get out of this point? Because I know a lot of you think that they want to be living like this. But even then, do you not question what would have to have happened for them to want this over anything else? No matter what way you look at it, this is a violent problem and it's traumatizing for everyone. So can we address it? Can we start talking about it? How is this not our biggest problem right now?
Let us look all this thing in a bigger picture, because across America, as I told you, the issue of homelessness, it is rising faster than ever. For instance, according to the statistics, it is said that 770,000 people are unhoused, and this is the highest number in the U.S. history. And the funny thing is that most of them, they are being pushed to this because they cannot afford to live anymore. The cost of living has skyrocketed. The cost of living has gone up. From food, gas, rent, everything is up. And yet, I've heard people, saying many are sleeping in tents and highways when the government just removed a $4 billion tax cut for billionaires. I'm not sure about this, but I've heard Americans complaining about this. So kindly, if you are one of those who are complaining, kindly you can expound on this, that the government removed a $14 billion tax cut for billionaires. I'm not quite sure about this. I believe that when citizens say if there is money for billionaires, then there should be money to house people. They are not wrong at all. So what we are seeing, it's a policy failure dressed up, quote unquote, as innovation. Instead of fixing the housing market, politicians are very busy building the camps. Instead of lowering maybe the rent, they are creating the so-called accountability centers. And instead of listening to those on the ground, they are trying to move the problem out of sight, out of downtown, and into the desert. According to some of Americans, or according to those videos that I've played, I'm sure you have listened to them saying that this issue, these people are being driven out of town. They are being driven somewhere into the desert. And that's not a progress. To me, that's a punishment. And as I conclude, all this issue, the involuntary camp bill being built, the criticism that is coming from out of this project, there is a lot of critics, there's a lot of criticism, there's a lot of people who are not comfortable with this project going on, and I'm sure you have listened to them in the videos that I've compiled. The project might be the start of a new national trend, a shift from housing first to control first. But the truth is simple: you can't arrest your way out of homelessness. You can't hide poverty on a 16-acre compound. You can't claim compassion while building fences. That is a fact. So the real question is, just tell me, guys, is this a solution for the homeless or a prison, for the poor? Because I'm seeing this out of those the videos that have come across the social media. I'm seeing this. I'm seeing this out of research that I've done. I'm saying this out of many people that I've heard, criticizing this project that is being undertaken by the Donald Trump's administration. So some are saying that this is a kind of it is not an involuntary scent like they are calling it. It is a prison for the poor, and so it is not a solution for the homeless. So, guys, thank you very much for listening to me. I would like to hear your views on this. If you agree that America's homelessness crisis needs real housing, not camps, hit that like button, drop your thoughts below, and let's talk about what real compassion should look like. So, guys, that's all for today. This is Open Mic with Nelson. Thank you very much for watching and subscribing. We are a road to 100 subscribers, and we'll continue. In case I find something through these streets of social media, I'll be coming here. We discuss. This is because this is how we do it. Please continue liking my video, subscribe. Until next time, guys, I love you.